What's up, EV Clan? Alex Espion here, and today I'm going to be playing some Agar.io, because recently I played a little bit of Slither.io, so now I'm gonna play Agar.io next. Okay, sorry guys, there was a little ad, but now we're gonna get started here. So, it's been a little bit since I last played this game. I'd say probably like around as long as Slither.io. I have always liked Slither.io better, but Agar.io is good too. Now, Dipe.io is one that I never really got into. Has been quite a bit of time since I last played this game, as I said, so I don't quite remember like the controls of it. I know it's much more like in depth. There's much more to it than Slither.io. Where like with Slither.io, you just like sort of go around as a snake, and it's just like it follows your mouse, and then you like click the mouse button to you hold down the mouse button to boost. But with this, you like have to like split and stuff, and there's like different ways you can split. Like I feel like this game has much more like strategy to it, and you have like these things which are really cool because you can like hide behind them if you're small enough. I'm not small enough. I have already gotten too big to hide behind those, but like little guys could be hiding in those. And I can't remember if that makes them invincible to me or just that I can't see them, but I'm gonna be like checking these guys. Oh, what happened here? Oh, I now remember how this game works. So if you go into those when you're too big, then it will split you. And so now I have been split into a bunch of like little guys, and I believe I just have to wait a certain amount of time before it puts me back to the size I was. Like I go back into one big circle. But as I am split into these little circles, I am still gaining like size, of course. Is this the edge of the map? Oh, okay. If I like, did I just reconnect because I hit him because I like squished them against the edge of the map, or did I just reconnect because I had been like not connected for a long time? I don't know. But I'm number 9 actually. Wow, this game is not that hard to get on the leaderboard from what I'm seeing. Because Slither.io, I've like never been on the leaderboard ever, I don't think. But this game, I don't recall ever being on the leaderboard. But I mean, I guess I have. Like certainly, I must have at some point. Either that or I didn't play this game nearly as much as I thought I did. I definitely didn't play it nearly as much as I played Slither.io. But yeah, this is the other like IO game that got a lot of attention in like the early days of like Let's Players and on YouTube. Um, I shouldn't say like the early days. It was pretty early. It's like I don't know. It was a long time ago at this point, I think. So I gotta watch out for these guys because I'm not in the mood to be split. But yeah, in Slither.io, I couldn't possibly like even imagine being like first place in a server. And in this game, I'd imagine there's not much chance of me being first place either. Um, just because there are probably people who have been playing this for like an hour and are still alive. Like, or they've been, I don't even know how long, like people just sit here and grind this out. But I'd imagine like people just get to a certain size and then they just like stick around for a while, just keep on growing. Like I'd imagine that the person in first place, like it's possible in some circumstances that they've been playing for like at least an hour, maybe even 2 or 3. I don't even know. Like once again, I don't know how long people tend to play these games. I never really tend to stay alive for very long. But I'd imagine if you have the ability to stay alive for a long time, that a lot of people do. I do think that in the early days of this game, like when this game, I shouldn't say early days because what I mean is not like early days, but like just earlier, like in the past. Because I don't know how old this game actually is. It seems like a relatively simple game in concept, and I'm sure it wasn't the first game of its kind. I'm sure there were other games where you go around as an orb collecting like smaller orbs. I mean, I guess that's just Pac-Man, but like Pac-Man had like a mouth. You were like an orb with a mouth, so that's like kind of different. Also, another thing that makes this different from Pac-Man is obviously that it's like not a maze. What was that? Oh, okay, so they're just like, uh-oh, this person scares me. But I think if they split to try to get me, they will not be able to because I think then they will be too small to consume me. However, if they do come back to their they might just swallow me up right here unless I do something about it. So I'm gonna split and leave that one behind. I'm going to potentially have to sacrifice like half of myself in order to get out of the situation alive. We're going to sacrifice one half for the other. Because if this person gets back to the normal size, if their like little circles go back into one big circle, then I'm screwed. Uh-oh. Okay, so their circles are starting to recombine. This is not good. This does not put me in a good position. Because if their circles fully recombine, they're going to be big enough to just like split into me, probably, and then kill me. So I need to get away from them before they recombine. Otherwise, that split could kill me. I do seem to have gotten away from them now, which is good. But now that I've gotten away from them, I guess I should start talking about something because I'm sure that's gonna lead. Now we're gonna be in a little bit of downtime here. Now, oh, dang, I'm getting big. Like now that I'm like I'm back to being like one big one rather than a bunch of small ones. It put into perspective like just how big I am, and I am surprised at how good I am doing. I am also surprised at just like how low my score is at the bottom, which, like I said, is probably like in like the early days, in like the earlier days of this game, like in the past, like 2015 maybe. I don't know when this game was like the game. I don't know when people were really playing this. I don't recall. All the years sort of blend together. So all I know is that it was a while ago. This game isn't nearly as popular as it used to be. But like when this game was popular, I'm sure that 930 did not have you on the leaderboard. I'm sure that like to get to where I am on the leaderboard right now, that being like sixth, at some point seventh. It seems to be alternating between sixth and seventh. Really, it seems to be like it seems to be fluctuating. Just because like seventh is overtaking me, and then I'm overtaking seventh again, and so that's putting me back in sixth. Just swapping between sixth and seventh. We're alternating a little bit. If I gain enough, I might even surpass fifth over here, but I don't know how big fifth is. I don't even know where that person was that was just chasing me. That I was talking about like splitting into me and killing me. I don't even know where that person was on the leaderboard. They could have been like a relatively big one, and they just like looked pretty small because they were split up. But like those were some pretty big split orbs. So it's possible that like the big orb that they combined into was like really big. That guy up there looks big. He did just split. I did see like that he went from one big orb to a few small orbs. And now he's going into even smaller orbs. Actually, while he's small orbs, I could probably go get him. Yeah, but he's doing a good job of wandering away. Yeah, that person. This person right over here. I like their skin. I don't remember how skins work in this game. I'd imagine it's not like Slither.io where it's like super easy to make your own. Because in Slither.io you just kind of like combine... Oh, there's some lag going on here. Okay, Slither.io you just kind of combine like a bunch of little snake segments. Oh, okay. Hello there. Hello there, little fly. Hello. Would you like to be my dinner? Would you like to be eaten today? Eating a fly sounds kind of gross, but yeah, go ahead. Just split. Just go a little bit too far into that green one, and then split, and then hopefully I grab one of your little smaller bits, smaller circles that you split into. But yeah, like in Slither.io, you customize the snake via segments, so it's just like, oh, you did one segment, and then here's another segment, and then you just do it like segment by segment, so it's like relatively easy to customize. But in this, it's just like one big circle with like one design on it, and so I don't know if it's like how easy it is to customize. I'd imagine it's much harder to customize yourself in this game. Because like customizing a like line, basically a line, segment by segment, essentially a line. Okay, I'm just gonna split and take you. Thank you. It's a little risky because now I am in a position to be easily eaten if someone comes in that is like bigger than me. Whether and like if they cut me off, but, like okay, if they're bigger than me, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm doomed because they might not be able to catch up to me. But if they're bigger than me and they like cut me off, then that's trouble. Also, if they like block my path, like if they cut me off, like just like come out of nowhere and just like block me from going anywhere, block my escape, and that's a problem. Also, if they're super big to the point where they can split and still eat me, that's a problem. So yeah, there are some definite disadvantages to being split up, but sometimes you do just need to like split yourself up so that you can get a chance to eat some smaller guys because the smaller guys are faster than you. So like sometimes you just can't get them. Like the only reliable ways of getting the smaller guys because they're so much faster than you would be like splitting yourself to like get them. To just like yeet part of yourself into them. or like just to sneak up behind them, like come up from a like from an angle that they can't see you, and then like yeah, you're slow, but you still might be able to catch them by surprise and get them. So yeah, those are like the two major ways that you would be able to like reliably kill a smaller person that's like super small. Obviously, I feel like the best thing to do would the most reliable prey in terms of like what you can get easily. The best prey in terms of what you can get reliably would be probably just like people who are slightly smaller than you, and they're also just good because that gives you a lot of size if you like eat them up. But yeah, they're probably like the best prey in terms of what you can get reliably, because they are smaller than you, which means you can eat them. But they are not too much smaller than you to the point where they're like much faster than you. This guy's about to recombine. I was about to launch part of myself at him, but that I got a little scared because I did see him like recombine, and you can kind of tell. It does. I don't know exactly how much time it takes for you to recombine, and it is like the orbs just do kind of like always stick around each other, so it's kind of hard to see like when they're about to recombine, like when they're getting close to recombining, like when exactly, and it's hard to pinpoint like when exactly they are getting close enough to the point where they are going to recombine soon. But like once it gets to like the point where they're about to recombine, then it's oh okay, now I've just screwed myself over, huh? Please do not eat me, big blue guy down there. Please do not eat me, big blue unnamed cell down there. Hello, 414. Oh, there's another 414. Okay, so that Gabbo is a little bit scary. He's a little big. He is big enough to eat me if he just like goes up to me head on, but he's not big enough to eat me if he splits. But yeah, like if they're just slightly smaller than you, then they're going to provide you with a good amount of food, and also they're going to have trouble running away because they're going to be like roughly the same speed as you, like a little bit faster, yeah, but at the same time they're still going to be like relatively slow, like relatively the same sort of like slow speed that you are. So probably what would be best would be to the aim for the people that are like only slightly smaller than you. Not just because they're like easiest to get, but also just because they are they yield a lot. They yield a high amount of food. But yeah, I actually recently watched Space Jam, and I gotta say, I was expecting it to be like one of those movies where it's like ironically good, like it's so bad it's good type of movie. But honestly, it was just a good movie. Oh, I like this guy. This guy has like a little Christmas tree emoji as his username. Some of these guys are unnamed. That's something I don't know if you can do in Slither.io. But I do see that there are two unnamed cells really high up on the board here. Oh, you are about to die, sir, unless you get away. Okay, he seems to be getting away. He seems to be like doing a pretty good job of getting away from me. And this person down here is approaching me. Actually, they're approaching him. Hopefully they do not split into me. I don't think they could split into me from this angle because they seem to be like facing him. They seem to be going towards him, which tells me that like when they split, they would since the split follows the mouse, they would split into him, not me. Okay, he is getting away. He is getting away from me, but I did get a little segment of him. I did take half of him. He is going to live to fight another day, but I did get a bit of him. I did get some food there. I did get some food out of him, and I am not dying nearly as I am not dead yet, which is like in Slither.io I would have been dead like 3 times now. So it just goes to show like either I'm much better at this game than I am at Slither.io, or this is just an easier game, or even like Slither.io is just like has a lot more players now than this does, and I'm kind of just left with all the bad players. Not saying that all the people in this lobby are bad, I'm just saying that a bunch of this people in this lobby are probably inexperienced, which does kind of make them bad, but I'm not saying that like all the people in this lobby are bad. I will say that person down there has grown considerably since the last time I saw them. I did see them recently when they were very big, but like the last time I saw them before that, they had grown much bigger. So I am kind of scared. Oh yeah, and they just grew a lot bigger because Bub is just splitting themselves into them. My gosh, what are you? Oh, you're an unnamed cell, aren't you? Because I'm trying to figure out like what the name is. Because obviously I see like a little name down there, and I'm scared because there's lag, there is lag, and I am okay. Okay. So you know what I was saying about like living a long time? Yeah. So that's done with. That I have died now. So I have eaten my words. Okay. So we are back, guys. We are back to being a tiny dude. And if that round and if this round lasts nearly as long as the last one, then this will be the last round we do today. But yeah, you can, if you're small, hide in these. But as you saw last round, if you are too big, then instead of you just like going behind them and like being able to hide behind them, they actually just split you, which can be very very bad in certain situations. Um, okay, that guy is big. I better watch out for him. I don't think he saw me, which is good. It gives me time to run away. Okay, he did see me. Okay, so that round did not last nearly as long as the first one. But, oh, I don't care about your stupid ad. And here's another ad. Okay, so we are back again, guys. And we are back to being just like a tiny little size. Almost as small as the orbs we are collecting. But that's okay, because in this game we grow much quicker than we do in Slither.io. Compare my size last round to the size like I got, to the biggest size I got in at any point in the Slither.io videos. I don't know why Slither.io is so hard for me to say. Even then, I just like messed up the TH sound. Oh wow, you are very big, aren't you? Like I just took a little bit of that guy. Just took a little bit of the split off circles that he had. And he probably didn't even notice. That's how big he is. He could literally just split right now and kill me, but he probably doesn't see me. Okay, I'm just between two big guys here, and I gotta run away before that guy recombines because he could just split and kill me. Okay, he does not seem to have any interest in splitting and killing me. I feel like since he's so close to another big guy, the chances of him splitting are low because that puts him at a disadvantage. That puts him in a chance to lose like half his mass because he's probably gonna split, and then he. Oh my gosh, there's another big guy over here. That's Sigario. Sigario MX. Yeah, he's on the leaderboard. He is number 8 right now. I did see him last round. There are 3 unnamed cells on the leaderboard currently. Oh, an unnamed cell just dropped. Okay, now there's an unnamed cell in first place. And Sigario is no... I think Sigario just dropped, but then he went up again. He was in 8th, now he's in 7th. Then he was in 7th, and now he's in 6th. And now he's back in 7th. Okay, so something seems to be going on with Sigario. I know that someone took first place, which means someone had to have died. Because someone wouldn't suddenly take first place unless that someone else died. Like, the leaderboard just dramatically shifted, and I don't know who exactly died, but a dramatic shift like that indicates that someone had to have died. And we are currently at a size right now, to the point where we could, if we bumped into one of those green things, just split. And definitely just like splitting yourself is much wiser than letting those things split you, because when those things split you, you get split into like a bunch of little circles rather than just like splitting yourself in half. And like splitting yourself in half is not as much of a problem because then at least you're still like at least both of your circles are relatively big. But if you split yourself into like tons, if you like run into these, it splits you into tons. So that's like tons of small ones that people could eat. So it's like either you split yourself and you end up with like 2 relatively big ones, which would be harder to eat, or you like let those split you and you get split into a bunch of small ones that would be like easy to eat. Like they could gobble up like pretty much all your mass in one go just because they're probably so big that they could like consume most of you, if not all of you, just like without even trying, basically. But I am already back on the leaderboard, which just goes to show, like, in the current lobby I'm in, current server, current lobby, I don't even know what it's called in this game, but in the current lobby, I'm going to say lobby, that I'm in, it does not seem like people are doing very well, because I am already back on the leaderboard, and it is interesting that the leaderboard goes down to 11th. I could have sworn it went down to 12th before. I could have sworn I saw 12th, and I'm just realizing now that the unnamed cell that was in first place is no longer in first place. Okay, but there are still 3 unnamed cells on the leaderboard. Okay, and now 11th is no longer on the leaderboard. Is it just... Oh, you know what it might be? It might be that it just always shows your placement. And so that's why I saw 12th before, is because probably before I was 12th. And then I went up to 11th, and that's why it was showing 11th. But usually, it only shows the top 10. Well, it only shows the top 10 if you're in the top 10. it usually only shows the top 10 in which you are. But because I'm in the top 10, it doesn't show anything else. It doesn't show like an additional number. It just shows the top 10. I am 8th here. So people are dying. The leaderboard is shifting around. It looks so different from like what it looked like about a minute ago. And I am currently in the spot that I believe an unnamed cell was before. I'm in the spot that a lot of people were in before. But yeah, it just goes to show like how quickly this game can change. Like, and I would attribute that once again to like this game is not being played nearly as much as it used to be played. And hopefully I can get this guy before he combines. Okay, I cannot. I could probably still eat him, but I don't think it's worth the trouble. Just because I don't think I'm catching up to him. I think he's got like too big of a lead on me for me to be able to catch up to him without splitting. And then if I split, obviously he's going to be able to eat me. So that wouldn't be a good idea. But yeah, like just goes to show, because the lobby is so much smaller than in like Slither.io, and I'd attribute that obviously to having a less active player base nowadays. Can I squeeze through these without being split? Yes, I can. Yeah, because the lobby is so much smaller, things change so much quicker, and like there's so many like things change so much more dramatically, so much quicker. Whereas like in Slither.io, the leaderboard like barely changes. Like I guarantee you look at my video that was like 40 minutes long. I shouldn't say like look at the entire video, because then you're not going to get an accurate depiction of like how it changed, because that's 40 minutes of multiple rounds. But like if you look at a round that I played in Slither.io, I guarantee that the leaderboard remained mostly the same the entire time, because that's simply because like some people on there were on there for a really long time. But I feel like and like there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people in that lobby, so therefore there weren't a lot of like you were not getting on the leaderboard. Like the leaderboard was not shifting a lot, just because like the people who were on top had been playing for a while, and all the other people were like, and like there's a lot of competition to get to the top. So the leaderboard didn't change much in that game. But because there are so few people in this particular lobby, and I'd imagine this particular game in general, because it seems the player base has thinned significantly in this game, whereas in Slither.io it has not. Since there are so many fewer people in the lobby and in the game in general, I'd imagine, we're experiencing a more like abruptly, drastically changing leaderboard. Whereas in Slither.io, I'm sure it remained relatively the same. It was not nearly as big in Slither.io, the leaderboard, so maybe it was like changing rapidly and I did not notice it. Hello, Donald Trump, but I'm pretty sure that's Donald Trump, right? Yeah, it gotta be. It looks enough like Donald Trump to the point where I'm like, that's probably Donald Trump. But I can't, I'm not the best at identifying politicians by their picture. I'm not very good with remembering names, so I guess that has nothing to do with identifying whether the picture is Donald Trump. But it looks like Donald Trump. It looks like an artistic interpretation of what Donald Trump looks like. Doesn't look exactly like him, but it looks enough like him to the point where I'm like, okay, that's probably him. But yeah, we're getting some size here. We're over 1,000, which was an accomplishment in Slither.io, but I feel like in this game and in this lobby, considering how small it is, how few people there are, it's really not. I think last time we got over 2,000. I think it was 2,200. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, I watched Space Jam recently, and I was expecting it to be like a so bad it's good type of movie. I was expecting it to be like good ironically, but it was just like an unironically good movie, actually. Like, you would think a movie about a movie about the Looney Tunes playing basketball would not be like would be like funny because it's bad. Like funny in a bad way, but it was actually just like funny in a funny way and good in a good way. Not good in a bad way, just like not good in a bad way, or like funny in a weird way, or like it's bad way, but like funny in a funny way and good in a good way. Like it was not the ironic so bad it's good movie I was expecting it to be. It's actually just kind of good. Another movie I watched recently was Tooth Fairy, which was a movie. I I think it's like really interesting how wrestlers have found their way into like acting, And I know it's not like I say it as a blanket statement because it's like I say it as a blanket statement as if it's like happened a lot. Like, oh, how wrestlers have found their way into acting. Really, it's happened like only in two major instances, two as far as what I know of, which that those being like John Cena and Dwayne the Rock Johnson. And it's like it's happened twice, which isn't a lot, but like it's weird that it happened twice, you know? Uh, if I had a nickel for every time, I don't know what the meme is. If I had a nickel for every time a wrestler became an actor, then I'd have two nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened twice. I think that's it. Um, but yeah, just like the fact that like Dwayne the Rock Johnson and also John Cena like both went into acting. They're like both famous wrestlers that went into acting. Just like a funny coincidence. But I would say that like The Rock has had much more success than John Cena. I feel like John Cena has been like pretty like Paramount exclusive. I feel like he's done a lot of Paramount projects. I don't know if he has like a contract limiting. Obviously, I don't know every movie that John Cena's ever been in, but I feel like he's in a lot of Paramount movies, and I don't know if that's like part of his contract that he has to do like more Paramount movies than anything else, or that he can only do Paramount movies. But I feel like he's in a lot of Paramount movies, whereas The Rock does Disney, and I feel like Disney is obviously like I shouldn't say that Disney is like more successful than Paramount, but I feel like Disney is like Disney movies are definitely like easier, more well known than Paramount movies. You like ask people to name Paramount movies, and they're like but if you ask people to name Disney movies, they're like, oh, okay, I could go on for ages, right? Like I think that like I shouldn't say that like his John Cena's resume is so much less impressive than The Rock's, but like on the surface level, it would seem that way. I think just because like The Rock has Disney, and I feel like Disney acting for Disney as an actor is like that's a big thing for the resume. Like being able to say you were Maui in Moana, like can you imagine that? And it's not just Disney. Like I watched Tooth Fairy, as I said. I don't know if I said that. I maybe I just started talking about Dwayne the Rock Johnson, but what I watched was Tooth Fairy, and that is essentially a movie about him becoming a Tooth Fairy, and it is not made by Disney, which surprised me because I thought that he was like the Disney guy. Like I thought that obviously with the release of Moana, like him being Maui, and then Moana 2 came out recently. I haven't watched it yet, but that seems to solidify his role as like a Disney actor, or at least an actor that works with Disney periodically. But like, this guy is like cornering me right now. This is not good. This is the edge of the map, isn't it? I am doomed, right? Yeah, I'm basically doomed here, aren't I? I gotta split. I gotta split. I gotta split. I gotta get out of here. I got to let one survive. Okay, so he is just eating up the other half of me. But I did live to survive another day. That's not what it. That's not what the phrase is. It's not what the phrase is at all. Probably. Live to survive another day. That is not. I don't think that's it. What is it? I don't know. But I did lose a significant amount of size, still on the leaderboard, but did lose a significant amount. So, oh, it's Trump. Okay, Trump is right behind me on the leaderboard. Hopefully, I can rise up above, uh, rise to a higher place here. Hopefully, Trump doesn't beat me out here. Um, but as I was saying, I feel like being able to say you played Maui in Moana is just more impressive than like anything John Cena can say, purely because like Moana is Disney. Like I feel like Disney is just like an entirely different status symbol than like any other like sort of status symbol among actors. I feel like if you say I was in a Disney film and I was like a major role in a Disney film, like I feel like that puts you on like an entirely different plane than other actors. And maybe it's not like the best plane in the world to be on because Disney is like so corporate. But and they buy everything. You know, like maybe that's not the plane you want to be on exactly to say like, "Oh, I do acting for Disney." But it is certainly a plane of existence that is different than like other actors, I'd say. like I feel like that is a status symbol of some sort. And I'm not saying that that's like the status symbol for actors. Like, oh, if you do acting for, if you will never be better than some act, you will never be like more popular than some actor that did acting for Disney and got like a major part. Like, I'm not saying that. But I am saying that like that is a status symbol of some sort, I think. And I don't think that John Cena can match that. Like obviously I'd say that like anyone who worked in the Barbie on like the set of on like the Barbie movie, any actor in the Barbie movie that was like a major actor, I'd say probably is like more more respectable. Like I shouldn't say more respectable, just like more uh, I don't know, just like I feel like it's a better status, it's a bigger status symbol to be like I was a major actor in the Barbie movie than like I was a major actor in a Disney film. For the majority of Disney films, obviously there are some Disney films that are like timeless and like absolute classics, and I'm in fifth place. That's cool. There are some Disney films that are like timeless and absolute classics, and everybody loves them. But in the case of most Disney films, I would say that like at least for me, like I if I hear if I hear like an actor acted in the majority of Disney films versus if I hear an actor acted in the Barbie movie and had like a major role in the Barbie movie, then I am like significantly more inclined to like aspire towards that. You know, I feel like that is the biggest. Me personally, I feel like that is the bigger status symbol. It's like working on the Barbie movie than working on like most Disney movies. Obviously, there's some like I'd say like cast of Aladdin or like cast of Hercules or like any of those like classics. It's like okay, that cast obviously was like they were like they made an absolute movie classic. But like if you were like I worked on the cast of I don't know Disney's Strange World to to bring back conversation to a Disney movie I've talked about in the past. I would be like, okay, that's pretty cool. Versus you were like, I worked on the cast of the Barbie movie. I'm like, oh my gosh, give me an autograph right now, please. Obviously, I'd probably get an autograph for both, just because like famous actor. But I would definitely be more impressed by Barbie movie than that particular Disney movie. And there are some Disney movies that are like, if you were an actor in that movie, that's legitimately impressive. But most Disney movies, I feel, are can be surpassed by a lot of things in terms of like what is more impressive. And so I'm not saying that like Disney is like the actor status symbol. I'm not saying it's like the status symbol for an actor. What I am saying is that like that is a status symbol for an actor. Like if you worked on a Disney project, if you were like in a major Disney movie as a major character, like that is something to brag about. That is something to be like happy about. That's something impressive, you know? But I'm not saying that that's like the most impressive thing. There are definitely movies by other companies that are like more impressive. Um that would be like more impressive to have been an actor in. It's just like Disney is so like Disney I feel puts their brand on like everything they do. Like whenever Disney makes a movie, they want you to know that it's Disney. So I feel like being able to say that you were in a Disney movie is like especially a good brag in terms of being an actor because like everyone knows what a Disney movie is, you know? Like people might not know that like this is a Paramount movie or this is a Warner Brothers movie, because like yeah they do show the logo at the beginning, but it may not be as obvious because like Disney makes a movie they want you to know that they made the movie. Like they try very hard to make sure that you know it is a Disney movie. When Disney makes a movie, you will know about it because they make sure that you know about it because they are like they own everything. Like they have so much money. They have so much money for advertising. Like if Disney makes another major movie, like people know about it. So like Disney puts so much money into making sure that like every movie they make, you know it's a Disney movie to the point where like that's why it's such a big brag to be like, "Oh yeah, I was in a Disney movie." Because it's just like when you say that, if you can say that, then that is just like a company which people know has made like very high quality movies. Like people can name movies that are really good that have been made by that company, and it doesn't mean that other like movie creation companies haven't made better movies. It just means that like that is immediately recognizable as a company that makes really good movies because they put so much effort into making sure that everyone knows they make really good movies. So I feel like, yeah, uh, it's impressive that John Cena does a lot of Paramount stuff because Paramount is a big company. But at the same time, like name Paramount movies versus name Disney movies. Paramount does not make you nearly as aware when they're making a movie versus how aware Disney makes you of when they're making a movie. Like I feel like you could like not know that a movie is you are like perfectly capable, like it is uh perfectly fair to like go into a movie theater to watch a Paramount movie and not know that it's a Paramount movie until you entered the theater and you saw like and they started the movie and you saw like the Paramount logo. Like if you didn't know it was a Paramount movie before seeing the logo, then like I feel like that's perfectly fair. But if it's like you're going to watch a Disney movie, like you know it's a Disney movie before you even go into the theater, before the movie even starts, because it's just like so they make it so obvious, like both through like marketing, it's just like making sure people know like this is definitely a Disney movie, and also just through like the style that they use because Disney has a very specific style that they use in making movies. Like they are very distinct. Um, and I feel like that comes from just the fact that they make a lot of animated movies because like live action, all characters sort of look the same because all characters are played by human beings. And that's just in some ways that's a limitation. Like obviously as I just said, like characters in live action movies are not as recognizable as characters in animated movies usually because like live action you don't have the liberty of just like making something purple because or like making a hedgehog. I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog did it anyway, but like you know what I'm trying to say. You get what I'm trying to say is that just like you don't have the liberties that you do with character creation when it comes to live action movies as you do with animated movies. So, like live action characters are, I feel like, less easy to differentiate because there's just like less defining features because they're all human beings. And like there aren't and like with animation you could like make any you could give like human beings like very defined features too. Like even if you're just working with human beings and you're doing animation, then like even then you could just like make one human look significantly different than another human because there are obviously like a lot of different ways to animate a human. There are a lot of different ways to draw a human in animation. There's a lot of different like features you can make more defined than others. There's a lot of like features you can place emphasis on to make one human look significantly different than the other. But like even in animation, even if you are only working with humans, then you still have like more ability to differentiate characters than live action, even though live action is also like primarily working with humans. Just because like yeah, all humans in the world like look different, to some extent, except like twins, but you know what I mean. But like in with animation, you can make them look even more different. Like you can put emphasis on certain features to make sure that this human looks very different from any other animated human. Whereas in real life, like people look like people. And like some actors look like very similar to other actors, and like to you could dress people up to like different in like interesting clothing to like differentiate them. You can make them do like their hair in an interesting way. But in the end, it is just like still the limitation of like you are working with human beings primarily, and human beings are just built a certain way. It's not like animation where like this human being looks significantly different than this human being just because like their nose is super large uh or their arms are like way bigger than they should be. Like you can't like in animation you can exaggerate features to draw attention to like this human is very different from this human, but like in real life all humans look like pretty much the same. Obviously, like facial features, skin tone, like there are significant differences. Like every human looks somehow different, but there are definitely like uh, it is like much more limited in terms of like finding actors. Like live action is much more limited in like character differentiation because like all the human actors have to be found. They have to be like natural human people. And like animation, you can just like make a human look whatever way you say a human looks like. You can like emphasize whatever features you want to give them the design that you want, and it may not look like super accurate to what a human actually looks like, but it will differentiate them from like other human characters. Meanwhile, like at in like a live action film, all the humans are like actual humans. So I'm just gonna eat you real quick. Okay, that failed. So now I'm split. Now I'm in a bad position. Uh, but hopefully I recombine without anyone eating any part of me. See, it's good that I split this way rather than splitting like into a bunch of ones by crashing into one of those green things. And I am noticing that as you get bigger, it gets harder and harder to avoid those green things, which means I will probably be getting split into much smaller versions of much smaller circles a lot more often as I get bigger. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so just like it is in like animation, you have these liberties when making humans to make like this human look so much different than this human. Even though they're like both humans, you can make one look like less, have like less human-like features than like another one, and like one have more human-like features than the other one. And like by like exaggerating certain features or like making certain features less, like emphasizing certain features less. But like in real life, all the humans you're working with are actual humans. They're like actual real life humans, so they look like actual real life humans. Um, but yeah, so basically, where was I going with this? What was I talking about? Yeah, so just like even if you have even if like you're working with human characters in both live action and animation, uh, animation you just have more liberties about what those human characters are going to look like, and uh, so like you have more opportunities to differentiate human beings in animation than you do like in real life, just because you have more liberties with the way they look. Like obviously you can alter real life actor, you can have real life actors like alter their appearance to a certain extent. You could tell them like do this with your hair, or please dress like this, but in the end they're just gonna look how they look. But like with animation, you can make a human look however way you want to make a human look. So you just have more opportunity to differentiate them from other characters, and like differentiate them from any other character in any other movie, like make them look instantly recognizable. But like in but like even if you even if you are working with humans in both animation and live action, in animation you definitely do have like more opportunity to differentiate your characters, even though in both circumstances you're working with humans. But like if you are not working with humans in both instances, then it's going to be like even easier to differentiate uh, your characters, because actually, can I just eat you? Like, why am I running away from you? Okay, I'm running away from you because you kill me. But yeah, like if you are not working with humans, then it's even easier to differentiate your characters. So that's like another way that like animation makes it easier to differentiate characters from others, because like you could make humans with like super emphasized features that look very different from like your other typical humans, or if or you could just like not work with humans at all. And like obviously you can work with animals in live action too, but you just need to use like CGI and stuff, and that might not look as good. It might not be as easy to do. So I would say in general, yeah, just like animation, it's easier to differentiate characters from like in live action. And so that's why like Disney's characters are so instantly recognizable, is because they do a lot of animation. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching Eevee Clan. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And this is Alex Espion signing off.